So there's this proverb that we are often familiar with, and not once or twice. We have had people talking about it, or you could be watching this video and you may have said it at some point in your life. It goes, familiarity breeds contempt. But is this the case with our relationship with the Lord? Is this the case with our friendship with God? Can it reach a point in our lives where we become so familiar with God and it breeds contempt? Welcome to this discussion right here at CITAM Church Online Youth Cafe. My name is Mwaniki. Intimacy with God. So basically I decided, let me look up this in the dictionary and find out what exactly is the meaning of the word intimacy. And it says it's a close familiarity or friendship. It is a close familiarity or friendship. Other synonyms that can also define it is togetherness, closeness, familiarity. Another one could be confidentiality. But can we get to a place in our lives as we relate with people, as we relate with things, where we become familiar with them, where we become so familiar with them and reaches a point where you start developing a dislike for it? It actually can happen. You're watching this video and you're saying that I've worked in a job before, I have known someone for a while right now, and for some reason I feel like my relationship with that person or my friendship with that person is slowly breeding disrespect. And there's a part of scripture in 2 Kings chapter 18 from verse 3 to 6. I was reading a story about a king and it really intrigued me. Among very many kings, this particular one really intrigued me. Again, it's in 2 Kings chapter 18 verse 3 to 6, which says, Hezekiah did right in the sight of the Lord, in accordance with everything that David his father ancestor had done. He removed the high places of pagan worship, broke down the images' memorial stones, and cut down the Asherim. He also crushed to pieces the bronze serpent that Moses had made, for until those days the Israelites had burnt incense to it, and it was called Nehushtan, a bronze sculpture. Verse 5. Hezekiah trusted and relied confidently in the Lord, the God of Israel, so that after him there was no one like him among all the kings of Judah, nor among those who were before him. For he clung to the Lord and did not turn away from faithfully following him, but he kept his commandments with the Lord, which the Lord had commanded Moses. Now, just to pick it up from this part of scripture, that is it possible that you would get into an intimate relationship with God and it would not breed contempt? Yes, it is very, very possible. From this part of scripture, we realize that the king of Judah, Hezekiah, didn't just rely on God. He didn't just depend on God. He didn't just trust in God. But through all that, he had an intimate relationship with God. I like the part that says he clung to the Lord. That in itself already shows intimacy. That in itself already shows togetherness. That in itself already shows closeness, the relationship that he had with the Lord. And my prayer for you and I today is that this is where we will be, that it will reach a point in our lives where we are so close to God. And the amazing thing is that getting familiar with God doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that we can get to a place where he disrespects us. You know, because he delights in us being familiar with him. That's the amazing part. You may be with someone, you may get to know someone, and sometimes as human beings, it's just a point where we feel, I'm actually a bit bored, I'm getting a bit bored, I'm starting to develop a dislike for this particular thing. But this is not the case with God. With God and us, it becomes very different. God doesn't get bored with us, you know. God doesn't get to a point where he starts disliking us because we are getting familiar with him. In actual sense, he delights in us when we get familiar with him. However, it could also reach to a point whereby we become so familiar with God and we fail to respect him. We fail to obey him because we have become so close to him. And I pray that as you watch this video, you and I will get to that place with God and our relationship and our friendship with God where we'll fail not to disobey him. We'll walk in his ways, we'll trust in him, we'll constantly depend and rely on him, and we'll cling to him. That we're at that place of we are at the verge, we are at the edge of the cliff. And you feel like Peter, where you're in this storm and you're sinking in deep, that you will cling onto God so that he may help you, so that he may walk with you, so that he may continue to watch over you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I have really enjoyed sharing with you guys what God has laid in my heart. I look forward to hearing from you guys on our social media platforms. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Please hit the subscribe button. You can also follow us on these respective social media platforms. And until next time, God bless you guys.